the king, and then the Boone Humper at the very bottom there as just a lousy team, but giving it a lot of effort to get better.
Well, I'm sure the management of the Boone Humper appreciates your little comment on his effort. I don't think you need to talk to the management about their effort. They know they're putting in their heart and soul. Okay. As for my bottom five, things have changed a little bit. We're going to start with the goods at number 8. And no Andre Johnson. He's out. No running backs to speak of. I'm not a fan. I had a chance to be a fan, but then my fandom faded. Goodbye. Up next, we have the King. They still have no quarterback. They have no running back. Miles Austin may be hurt. This is just a bad team, but there are some worse teams. Don't get me wrong. Up next, we got Lunches for Wimps. I like the running backs. Well, I don't like the running backs. I'm looking at this team. It has a chance, but then if he doesn't tend to it like a garden, then it's just going to be bad. Number 11, we have Redonkulous. I don't know what to say about Redonkulous. I think he's snake bit. He just can't seem to win a game. With all that power, he hasn't won yet. I think this just isn't going to be his year. I'm sorry, Redonkulous, but prepare to make or score the second most amount of points in Fantasy League Fantastico and still not win a game or make the playoffs.
That's a curse.
And last, we have the Boone Humper. Again, your record speaks for itself. 0-4. No matter how you win or lose, you gotta win games, and until you do, you're just not gonna move anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
you're stuck in the crapper.
Can't win a game. They haven't scored points, and they got still that revolving door. The lineups are changing all the time, and that's tough to win that way.
It certainly is. It certainly. But again, I have talked to this manager, and I believe that you're going to see this team make a charge up the power rankings.
Top 5.
Oh, okay.
Starting at number 5.
At number 5, we are going to start with the Mofos. The only reason why the Mofos are in the top 5 because they are 3-1. Again, the record has to account for something. They are 3-1. If they win next week, then they'll still be in the power rankings top 5. But I don't know if that's going to happen. They have horrible running backs, and they did pick up Ryan Torain from the Redskins. That might help. I don't trust a Shanahan running back at all. Up next, Morning Wood. This is my new addition to the power rankings top 5. What a solid team. No waiver wire moves, but just diverse. A lot of players on a lot of different teams. He's running back heavy. He's got some great receivers who last year were crap. And
yeah, they've come on.
They've really come on.
The Steve Smith, I mean, who would have expected this?
Amazing. I mean, well, Cam Newton, but we'll get to that. Mason Keith Colby. Again, I think they're Patriot heavy at number 3. Beanie Wells is coming on. If he can continue to play well, Mason Keith Colby will solidify that team. As you have to have diversity. Up next, we have Dr. Dick. I like the diversity. All these different players from different teams. Matthew Forte, he got over 200 yards rushing last week. Just amazing. This is a team that can do a lot of stuff on any weekend. And first, until you beat him, he's still going to be number 1, the Rollers. Wow. I mean, he's got the best record. He's got solid defense. He's got McCoy and Best, LaShawn McCoy and Javid Best. This is a team that, if he loses, he's going to slide down, but as long as he's on top, he's on top.
He's been there every week for you at number 1, hasn't he?
Well, he has.
Top slot.
He's had a good run, but it was a very close, and I would say it was a horrible Boone Humper loss, but it was a horrible Roller win. It didn't really say to me, like, this is a team that deserves number 1, but he is 4-0.
Well, I think that factors into where I have them in my power rankings. The top 5 for me, and this 5th slot was, again, it's always revolving. This week I'm giving it to the Fire Spittin' Jimmies. I think they've got the talent on their roster. I think they've underachieved a little bit. I think they've had injury. They're starting to get some guys back. The Antonio Gates loss is, we're not really sure how long. That hurts. The Phillip Rivers is still really not putting up the numbers, but he's got Stafford there on the bench, who's one of the top quarterbacks.
True.
That team's a good team.
He's got
they have the ability to get better, or they have the ability to drop a little bit. We'll see. They're at 5. Number 4, Morning Wood, like you said.
Can I just say one thing about the Jimmies?
Yeah.
That Antonio Gates pickup, I believe I spoke to the management there, and they picked up Antonio Gates really early in the draft.
I think 4th round, yeah.
Foolish pickup, and should never have been done. They deserve everything they get.
Well, there we go. At my number 3 slot, I've got the Rollers there, as you've got them number 1 every week. I think, like you said, an unimpressive win against the Boone.
Wait, who's your 4th spot?
The Morning Wood.
Morning Wood,
I got interrupted there.
Sorry.
Morning Wood at 4. Again, running back core was their draft strategy, and he's gotten real lucky, I think, there with those late receiver pickups. Macklin, Steve Smith again. Don't think he was even playing on most rosters last year, and then he's filling in that 3rd slot with some makeshift switcheroo there. I can't remember who he has.
But what do you make of the Morning Woods activity on the waiver wire? He doesn't seem to be very aggressive.
Again,
but
he hasn't made a
winning.
move. I think this week his hand is forced with a kicker, so we'll see him out there Sunday morning picking up a Kansas City Chief suck-up.
What do you think? You had a chance to talk to this manager. What are his thoughts about his team?
I think he's never been a waiver wire guy. He thinks it's all about the draft. You build from the draft. You see what you've got in the first 5-6 weeks, and then you add pieces if you need it. I think that's a fine strategy if you draft well, you don't have the injury bug, you don't have some underachievement. And I think right now he has been steady enough. He hasn't really had to make a move. I don't agree with it. I think you add a piece here and there no matter what, looking towards the future. But we'll see. He's not a manager that ever has gone deep in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, he really hasn't done anything at all in Fantasy League Fantastico. This is a big opportunity for him to really prove to the league and to us that he deserves to be in the top 5.
I agree totally. I think that team of this top 5 could be the best team in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
3, the Rollers. 2, I have my Dr. Dick there. I think the Dick, again, at 200 points, would be in most top boards. You don't have him there either. We agree on number 2 because he's got a couple of weaknesses there, and I think he's relying on too many veterans. And at number 1, again, Mason Keat Colby. I mean, the man just continues to rack up the points.
Week in, week out.
Things all seem to be breaking right for him now.
Huge.
How long will that pattern last? I mean, a Patriot injury, like you say, and how good is this team?
We're seeing this team, last week he puts in the Patriot defense, or I'm sorry, the Baltimore defense against the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking... His total was 35 points, but that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of
this
points
is a guy with
defense.
a magic touch, the manager at Mason Keat Colby. And can you keep it up for a whole year? I don't know. We'll see.
So, Bud, in looking at your rankings and these teams going forward, who's that team to watch for you?
Well, Bud, I've given it a lot of thought. I really have. And I got to say, Lunches for Wimps... to me, this is a team with a couple of adjustments at the wide receiver 2 and 3 position, and continuing to plug and play good quarterbacks, finding the matchups. This is a team that can win because it's got a solid base with Greg Jennings, he's got McFadden, and he's got Jason Witten. When you get a stud receiver and a stud running back and a stud tight end, the rest is just filling in the blanks. And if he can do that, if he can get focused, I think this team could shoot up the rankings and make a run at the playoffs.
I agree with that the core there is good. I think if you've got each of those positions handled, you can, be there in the end.
He's putting up a lot of points.
But we just don't see him active out there, and I wonder, if there's enough intensity.
I believe I heard from the commissioner that a probation...
Well, that's just a rumor there.
I don't know. I thought I might have heard something.
My team to watch, and this is a team that I looked at carefully this week, and unfortunately, like we said before, things haven't broke right for them. They're 0-4. They had a lot of the injury bug early. I think they might have panicked on a couple of drops. But all of a sudden, I think the waiver wire rules in the FLF have allowed those bottom teams to really make some nice ads and to help improve their team
Yeah.
based on their weight.